Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will understand about the acid-base balance and blood acidosis. How blood acidosis can occur. So, first of all, we will understand about the acid-base balance as a buffer system. So, the acid-base balance in our blood is very important. Like the 7.45 to 7.35 is ideal pH in our blood. So this is the proton when increase or decrease will disturb the acid base. So for example, that proton donation, that donate the proton is known as acid. That can be a hydrochloric acid and carbonic acid or sulfuric acid. The weak acid and strong acids on the basis of their donation of proton, like strong is the HCl are present in our digestive system, while the weak is the H2CO3, carbonic acid in our blood. While the base is the strong is the HCO3, it can accept the proton, NaOH, and the HCO3 is a weak, while the strong is the sodium hydroxide. It can be excrete if the excessive acid are present, excrete through urinary system or other. So whenever the intracellular pH is slightly less as compared to the blood, so in this way the 7.2 pH, while the blood contain proton the 40 nano equivalent per liter, it means the 0.904 equivalent per liter. Chemical buffers is take minute for acid base balance, while the lungs take minute to hour, and kidney is slow but it is strongest for the acid base balance. The pH we can show that through log 10. It is 1 hour proton, and basically the proton when increase the pH drop, and the proton when decrease the pH will be increase. So in this way, this is the pH is minus log into proton is equal to minus log 40 nano equivalent per liter, and the pH is 7.4 normal in blood. The 7.4 to 7.37 to 7.42 is the range, and the pH when decrease will lead to acidemia, while the pH when increase will lead to alkalemia. So in this way we can calculate the pH. This is the cell. When aerobic respiration to produce carbon dioxide go into the blood circulatory system, in this way combine with the water to form a acid, carbonic acid. And the carbonic anhydrase, hydrogenase, dehydrogenase enzyme used to pH will drop. While ultimately when pH will drop, this pH will be dissociation in the lungs, the carbon dioxide will be released from respiration to normalize the pH. While on the other hand, when it can be dissociate into the HCO3 minus plus proton will lead to increase the pH by this inside of the blood. The amino acid going to the intracellular inside of the cell will lead to decrease the pH. Acid-base balance, let's begin to understand the physiology. Whenever the respiration will occur, the oxygen will move into the circulatory system while the carbon dioxide exhale. This is the bone and blood circulatory system as well as kidney and muscle. Whenever the osteoclast activity increase, the calcium and phosphate will be enter into the blood circulatory system and the alkaline release. This is the alkaline, and pH will be increased ultimately. But this pH when increase will lead to trigger the osteoblast activity for the deposition of the calcium and phosphate through the hormonal changes, and in this way it will inhibit the activity of osteoclast, because the osteoclast degrade the bone while the osteoblast increase the bone density. A reverse alkaline should be required now for normally, and the parathyroid, calcitonin and vitamin D will act to osteoblast activity to deposit the calcium and phosphate. In this way, the pH will be regulate and decrease acidic. On the other hand, the kidney is very important to reabsorb the proton and ammonia, and in this way the proton will be absorbed. Reuptake will lead to decrease the pH for normal function. The muscle protein breakdown and amino acid increase will lead to more acid, and in this way the balance will occur. This will inhibit the pH. When excretion of the carbonic acid and the calcium and phosphate and proton decrease less, but excretion more the alkaline. In this way the alkaline urine will occur, and in this way the inhibit the rise of the pH. While the lactate utilization will increase, and in this way from the liver and urine is contain a more alkaline when the more is a more alkaline pH in the blood. Let's understand about the acidosis. This was the alkaline if not reabsorb the proton, so it will lead to alkaline, while the acidosis will occur if the basically the decreased lung oxygen saturation due to the lungs cancer or lungs diseases. So in this, the hypoxia will occur in the cell when decrease of the oxygen, and in this way the cell dysfunction, while the reduced hemoglobin to oxygen ratio, and in this way the oxygen when decrease will lead to acidosis because the carbon dioxide when increase. So the disruption of the lungs will lead to increase the carbon dioxide, while decrease the oxygen will lead to hypoxia in the tissue, and this will lead to carbon dioxide and water will combine to form a carbonic acid. This carbonic acid will lead to acidosis if the not excrete too much proton, and in this the pH when drop the acidosis and dysfunction of the renal, the kidney as well as liver, the lactate utilization decrease. In this way the reduced HCO3, the reabsorption, and in this way the acidosis will occur. This is the function, but on the other hand, the hypoxia is due to the anaerobic exercise to produce lactic acid, and the infection in cell, injury of cell will lead to inflammation, and the glycolytic pathway will trigger, but the oxygen is too much less due to the aerobic exercise and too much oxygen consumed to produce lactic acid, and in this the lactate increase will lead to acidosis because the lactate will consume the proton. Anyhow, I hope you make sense about that. If you like my video, please make sure to subscribe, like and share, and see you in the next video for this term. Bye.